Hello everybody, I'm glad you're here today. Today is October 10th, 2024. In this video, I'm going to bring you a word that I wrote down this morning. You will find it encouraging. You will find it encouraging. Speaking of encouraging, after my video yesterday, thank you for all of the words of encouragement and like keep going and all of that. I so appreciate it. I'm a little embarrassed because I'm like, I hope I didn't seem like I was attention seeking, because I am not anything like that. But I do want to say thank you. I've read all the emails. I may not have responded to them yet, but I have read them. Thank you. So that being said, we're going. We're going to keep going, everybody. Endure to the end, right? So, put that on the shelf. So I want to bring you what I wrote down. I want to bring you what's kicking the COVID that's in our house right in the ass. I know some of y'all don't like me to use that kind of phrasing, but that's how I feel when germs come into my house like that. I thought, not today. Not today, COVID. You're not going to bother us today. And so I'll bring you what's working for my son. I don't know if it'll work for you. It's not medical advice. I can clearly tell you I am no doctor. All right. So I'm just saying this is our experience. So I'm going to tell you about that. I got a couple of stories. First of all, the latest and greatest idea that we're having at our worship time, our gathering of believers. Y'all, we have found a place that has no walls. Have you? I mean, I'm not talking literal. I'm talking in the heart. It is phenomenal. Mike and I've never experienced this ever. And so, man, it's so wonderful. It's so wonderful. Well, here we go. Christmas is coming up, right? Right. And, I've got these ideas that always are like flowing through my head. And I thought, why don't we hire? I don't know if I told you all about this or not. I know I haven't told you about the outcome of it. Why don't we hire professionals to come put our lights up on our building? Clearly, if you drive around our town at Christmas, there is no professional lighting whatsoever anywhere, which is kind of how I like it, because I thought, it's so humble. It's such a humble offering. I love it. But, being sometimes I cross the line into let's be the biggest and the best. I think that's the Texan in me. I don't know what it is, but it's not a pretty line for me to be in, because it's kind of like in your face, everybody else. That's how I am. From time to time, I have to really dial that back. And the Lord has like been very patient with me as I was like, here's what we could do to our building. And when I reached out to people who could professionally do it, come up from the big city and do it, they were like, you understand what you want is north of $7,000. And I was in the grocery store when they were telling me all about that. They were like, we've looked at what you want. Here's our estimate. And I'm like, hey, I was trying to play it cool while I was sitting there by the produce section. I was like, hey, we understand it's going to cost money. Yeah, we understand that. We want to make it worth your while. And really, I was just snowing him, because I was like, there ain't no way we're going to be paying $7,000 when there's people in need that don't have food or electricity or water. They can't pay their bills. Why would I be? And, I will say, I was viewing it a little bit like not exactly with the purest of motives. Okay, so there's my confession of the day. So we're not going to probably do lights. No, we're not going to probably do lights. We might do something very, very small, but not a lot of. I mean, they were like, man, we looked at the slope on y'all's roof, and it's like, He said even just putting lights up, would be north of $2,000. I'm like, well, so what we are doing right now is like building. We've knocked down some walls, and we're by our lobby and making our lobby larger, and we're putting in an espresso machine and making a little coffee shop in there, which is stinking cool for such a small little town as ours. And I don't know if we're going to open it to the public or not. That's not really the game plan at the moment. I don't know what the Lord will do with it, but it hadn't been costing very much. I mean, it doesn't cost all that much, and we had the money to do it, and it makes everybody excited. It's a visual thing of changes are happening. Things are happening there for the first time in a long time. But that's the Lord doing that, not Gina or my friend. And if I don't know, sometimes they watch these videos, so you know I'm talking about. Y'all are rock stars. We have a whole group of people that are like, hey, you know what we can do? So currently, here is the plan for here. You know what we can do? Y'all know we've got that big bell tower, all right? Well, y'all, the big windstorm came, blew down our new speakers, and disconnected the bell system from the electronic bell system. The carillons is what they're called, the carillons. Disconnected it up in the attic. Now, Mike, my husband, was the one climbing up and down like 3 sets of ladders to get up, and the ladders are installed in the bell tower. It stinking looks like Notre Dame, all right? I mean, you know, like the one in Paris. Not, yeah, not the football team or the school or whatever. I don't even know. But yeah, up there, when you look up there, you're like, oh, where's Quasimodo? You mean, that's kind of where you're at, you know. But anyway, it takes a lot of endurance, and Mike is just like, heck no, you know, he's got, I don't know how many stents in his heart at this moment in time. So he's just like, I'm not climbing up there in the dust no more. So we need to find somebody young. I know Dakota's not going to do it because he is not electronically minded, in that you're going to have to get up there and hook up these wires, like twist them together. We're working on that. But we do have a wonderful person in our congregation who's like, hey, you know what we could do? And he drives cattle. He works with cattle. He works with farming. He's just our age, known him for a long time. Although we're relearning to know them again because they moved away and now they've come back. But he's like, you know what we could do? He said we could like put a beam, a light up there on top of the bell tower, because there is a ledge around the steeple. It's about a 10-foot ledge, 10 to 12 foot all circumference. And I'm guessing that's from me sitting in the attic looking up and thinking, how wide is that? And I'm not good at gauging things like that. But he said, if we put a light, one single light, I don't even know what they're called. I ask y'all, does anybody out here, I mean, listening in the sound of my voice, know what the name of this is? To me, it would be like a beacon. Back in the day, you know, where the movie theater, where the beacons went like this, and then the beams of light went like this, you know. But I know there's a more economical way of doing it now that's not lights like that. I don't know what they're called now. I don't know what it would be. But a strong beam of light that just shoots straight up, into the darkness, into the sky. So that, like, when you're on the highway, you see that light for miles away. And, you know, it'll light up the clouds up there at night. You know what I'm saying? That's what we want. There's an outlet in the bell tower. We know there. And there's one light bulb up there. Larry went up there. You know, he's our pastor. He went up there just because, I mean, he's like down for adventure like that all the time. And he's he's like 10 years older than me. Maybe not that. Maybe 8 years older. I don't know. He goes up there. He's like, there is a light socket up there with a light bulb in it. We can light the tower in some way, shape, or form. But he said for sure there is an outlet up there, like a plug-in. So I'm like, why can't you just put a stinking light just standing up? Like, you'd need to bolt it. You would need to secure it. Clearly, when it's windy, stuff blows off that tower. We learned that the hard way when the city police brought that speaker in. Like, it was out in the middle of the street, and yeah, they're like, I think this is yours. And Larry's like, yeah, you know, that's ours. So yeah, so how do we do that? Does anybody out there know how to do that? And so what do we have to buy? And it has to be very strong light. It cannot be wimpy. It cannot be, y'all know, it cannot be half day. No, it could not. It has to be absolutely brilliant. Okay. And I will say my motives are pure. My heart is pure when I say that. I'm not trying to outdo anybody else. The Baptists. No, I'm not. Or the Catholics. No. Oh, if y'all knew how small town works, you would understand what I'm talking about. But no, we are all one and united in Jesus Christ. That's how we feel. I don't know how they feel, but we feel that way. Thank Jesus. So, yeah, that's the latest going on in our little group. So help us. How do we accomplish these things? Yeah, I think yeah, I think we know how to do it. It's a matter of getting somebody to climb up there and do it. That's what it really is. And harvest is still going on. So the able-bodied people that could do that are like out on the tractor for 15 hours a day, and they're like, I don't feel like coming to the church building after I get done with that. So we understand that. We really do. So okay. Oh yeah, let me tell you what is helping Dakota. So my son Dakota, COVID positive. Thank you for all your prayers. He's getting better every day. Here's what I'm doing for him that seems to be working. And, he's one of those people like, I don't care, Mom. I don't know if every 20-year-old, well, he's 19, he's fixing to be 20, are like that. The Zers, like, I don't care. His personality is like easy, easy peasy, wheezy. So he's like, whatever, just bring me something that's going to work, Mom. And so here's what I've been doing. First of all, y'all, this is disappearing off of our shelves. I don't know if everybody's got the COVID. I don't know what's going on. But get this, I'm giving him this 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. They're 12 hours, 2 at night. This seems to be working. Along with, of course, I've shown y'all this. It's been a while. But, we're getting in that season. Highlands, cough, and mucus. Okay? It is not cold and cough. Don't I guess the cold and cough works. I don't know. This is what works for our family. Cough and mucus. Now, 3 out of the 4 of us are CF carriers, cystic fibrosis carriers. I don't care what you say all day, every day. We have symptoms that are similar to cystic fibrosis in that, and I know this is gross. I'm sorry if you're eating while you're listening to me, but our mucus is like so thick. And see, that's what our daughter passed away with. She had cystic fibrosis. So those of us who are carriers, our mucus is like a beast. So this really helps. It does not, it's not the perfect thing, but it does help. All right. And it's Highlands. It's somewhat natural. I know it says for children, but just take the adult dose, y'all. And it's okay. It's good. It's good. So there's that. Now, this Mary Ruth's Organic Respiratory Health has helped in the past. I have not given Dakota any of this, mainly because I forgot. He was like, yeah, Mom, bring me whatever. And I was like, oh, you need some of that. And he was like, yeah, give me that. And then I completely forgot. I forgot to take it back there to him because we're isolating him. He's like putting his dishes out in the hallway, and I'm the only one going in there. So this is good stuff too, and it doesn't taste too bad. And I can, oh my gosh, I nearly just dropped everything. Okay, so then I can confirm, y'all, and I'm sorry this is not a beautiful homesteady looking jar because I use it. And those young girls, those millennials, and I don't even know why this is kind of wet on the bottom. But mainly because it's on my kitchen cabinet probably, and you know how things get. But this, my cough elixir, has actually helped. All right, this is homemade and it's super sticky. So apparently when I was getting it out, it leaked, and it is half honey, half whiskey, a little bit of lemon juice, and this horehound candy crushed up. All right. I don't know. Y'all are going to ask me what the recipe is, how much. It is 1-to-1 whiskey and honey. So if you use, I used 2 cups of whiskey. I made a whole bunch because there's a family of 6. And that includes my mom and dad now. And when any of us get sick, if we all get sick at the same time, which we have before, though, it just dwindles down the supply. So I made a quart of it, which was a little bit more than a quart. And so it's 2 cups. So I did 2 cups of whiskey, 2 cups of raw honey, unprocessed, whatever. I don't know a lot about honey except make sure it's good honey. I did about 4 tablespoons of lemon juice, and I did about 16 of these candies crushed in my little pestle thing. This is what these candies look like. They're pretty vile just to eat. I tried to eat one once. I ate one. I did a video on it. It was okay. The longer it's in your mouth, the more you want to spit it out. But when you crush, this is like these, horehound is an expectorant. I didn't know that. For the plant is. I don't know a lot about this, y'all. Google it, find out, and there's many, many people that know much more about it than I do. But I do know it works. So, it helps you sleep. This helps you sleep because it kind of just calms down that cough. So that has helped. Uh, Whatever viewer, I just reminded me, going off on another, we're changing the subject. Whatever viewer told me to get my chickens in the coop at night by throwing in some corn, and I know you probably shouldn't give your chickens this. I don't care. My chickens are hardy. They're going to be just fine. This works. If you want them to come into the coop at night, throw in this corn. And because the last 3 nights, that's what they've been doing, except 5 of them have been like, we ain't going in there. And I'm like, oh, yes, you are. Oh, yes, you are. So I've had to go in there and catch them and throw them in the coop, which is fine. And they're not that hard to catch at this point in the game. They're still kind of small. But this morning, I was like, when I went to go let them out, because they haven't been sleeping in the coop. They want to sleep outside, little stupid things. And I know, for those of you who think animals have rights and things like that, I understand. I don't mean to offend you, but I think they're stupid. I think chickens are stupid. They're handy. And that doesn't mean they're mean and ugly, although, man, I have 2 that just nasty chickens. I don't like them. I'm ready for them to die. But the new chicks, I looked in to see where they were, if they were all sleeping on the bottom of the coop. Lo and behold, y'all, they were roosting, which I'm like, that's what grown-up chickens do. I mean, I had my roosting bars in there, and they were on it. And I was like, good, progress. Y'all, crazy my life. Okay, story time. How much time? Here we go. This is a story that has to do with what the word I'm going to bring you in my journal. So it does have a purpose, y'all. Taylor, who's my daughter, who is 30. She's an RN. She lives at home, pays rent, blah, 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 all of that. Y'all know that about her if you've been watching. She is a home health care nurse now. And so when she's on call, she's got to go. I mean, she's got to go. So the other night she was on call and she got called out in the middle of the county. It was at midnight. She was just driving down the county road, nobody out. And so she got to the home. It wasn't a horrible emergency, but it was something that could not wait until the morning for this woman. She lives by herself out in the middle of nowhere, this older woman. And when Taylor got there, took care of everything. When Taylor was leaving, the lady said at the door, she walked Taylor to the door. And of course, when you're in the middle of the county, there's no lights. I mean, like, it's dark out, like really dark. And she said, Taylor, I'm going to stand here in the doorway while you walk to the car because the coyotes have been so bad this year. And Taylor was like, the coyotes have been, like, the coyotes been coming up so close to your house, you have to watch me get into my car because they're going to come out and eat me. I mean, have you seen Laura Ingalls Wilder? Remember that? Remember when the wolf circled? Like, I don't know who it was. I think it was Paw, and I can't remember. It was like freaked me out when I read that when I was a kid. Anyway, so Taylor was like, okay, thank you. So Taylor gets in the car, no incident. The coyotes didn't get her. And then she gets another call from the woman inside the house. Before she pulls out, Taylor has to go back inside. Once again, the lady walks her because she had something go wrong before Taylor had left. So Taylor went and fixed it and then came back out. And once again, she said, I'm just going to watch you. Those coyotes have been coming so close to the house this year. I just want to watch you, make sure those coyotes don't get you. And Taylor's like, okay, thank you. Run to the car, shut the door, lock it. Like a coyote could, I don't know. I mean, many things go through your imagination late at night. So anyway, it made me think, y'all, especially after I talked yesterday, that is what our enemy wants to do, Satan. He's like that coyote, wants to come get us. And we have to watch out for each other. And that's what many of your comments felt like yesterday. Like, y'all were watching out for me. And I felt very humbled by that. Here is what I wrote down in the Lord. I hope this doesn't go too long. October 10th, 2024. Love everlasting. I will always be. I have always been. I am now. I am love. Be ever mindful of this, my child. I am the beginning. I am the end. Live in the inner peace, knowing this truth. Waves of love wash over all who believe in me. Constant waves of love. You cannot see this love I envelop you with, but you feel with your heart it is there. The enemy makes desperate plans to disrupt those waves. My waves of love, you know, are in your heart, your mind, your soul. That is his strategy. For some, he places doubt. Other, he plants hate rooted in pride, fear. When my children choose fear, my waves of love, because fear is chosen, my waves are more difficult to feel, to know are there. Do my waves of love lessen by the choices you make? No, child, they do not. The obstacles you place in the water, fear being one, disrupts the flow, making the assurance of my love, never ceasing, more difficult for you to see, to know, to trust. It is like fear is a cinder block in the stream of love. The constant current, strong and true, is never stopped. But because you choose to place an obstacle in the way, you are blocking your heart from the direct flow. You are still and always in my love, for it flows around anything you place in its way. Let me remove the cinder block from our stream, child. Let me remove the many cinder blocks so that my love can flow powerfully, freely in you. The power of my love is always flowing on you. Let it overflow onto others around you. And that's it. So, that was for me. Okay, that's me, y'all. And one of the most damaging theologies many of us have been taught or think is that when we're good, God loves us more, but when we're bad, God loves us less. That's not true. That's not true. That's false. That's a lie. God loves us, period. And we cannot understand it or even conceive how big and beautiful it is, how constant it is, because we're humans and he's God and we're not God. So just accept it. That's easy for me to say. I'm sitting there like, yeah, it's so easy. Yeah, he's sitting there telling me, yeah, you got a cinder block of fear in the stream. And I'm like, yeah, but I want to accept it. I want him to remove the cinder block, and I want to just lay back in the waves of love. Whatever you're going through right now, and I know many of you are going through desperate times. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Hang on. Hang on. Day by day, time is your best friend, only surpassed by the power of Jesus Christ and his waves of love for you. Endure to the end. Keep the faith. That's all I have. For those of you in Florida, we're praying. We're praying. Stay safe, America. This is Gina Lima Charlie. I'm out.